What's up traders, Andrew O'Connell here with Pristine Capital. Welcome to your market recap video. Let's discuss today's price action, and we're also going to discuss some positive noises out of Russia and Ukraine, as well as the bankruptcy of FTX. Let's dive in without further ado. The S&P 500 had finished up 0.52%. Our NASDAQ QQQ finished up 0.73%. Our IWM small caps ended up being a loser today, only up 0.03%. Dogs of the Dow up a full percentage point. Our ARK Innovation ETF, unfortunately, Tesla really bit the bullet once again, was down 0.4%. In our TLT long bond ETF, we got a very nice rally there, up 1.09%. Almost all of these indices closed towards the very middle end of their day's range. We got a big uptick in volatility, and remember, we have this CPI report that's coming up this Thursday. Total up volume is 63.8%, and the trend model does remain at a +1. Oh my gosh, look at this team. FTX agrees to sell itself to its rival Binance amid a liquidity scare at the crypto exchange. And that led to a ton of volatility within the crypto market. Let's take a look at what was going on there. And what the heck happened to Bitcoin today? Finished down 10.63%. This is the regular session right here. And look, we did put in a huge long lower wick, which is good, but it does appear, let's not make any mistakes about it, that there was definitely some liquidations that were going on. Oh my gosh, look at this bloodbath. Looks like Bitcoin is rallying back a bit, but check out this high relative volume on this candle. That typically does happen when you're getting a big liquidation. Now you could see this one of two ways. You could see it as, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's gonna go down to 14,000. This is the end of the world. Or you could see it if you're more of like a strategic asset allocator. You wanna play this for a big move when the Fed tightening cycle ends. You could see it as an opportunity. Now let's dive over to our Matic. This is a position, unfortunately, that I added yesterday with the stop at 83 cents. But look at this. We almost took out my stop. I added this with the intention of potentially just building a position out in Matic. So this is looking pretty juicy. To be honest, for me, this is an opportunity I can't pass up. I'm likely going to add a bit to my Matic position, but what I want to do is wait until I see the dust begin to settle. I have no interest in adding on this huge red candle. I would rather miss the bottom. But I want to make sure that if we do start to get some price confirmation, maybe we get back up to this $1.10 level, $1.20 level. That's where I'm actually interested in going ahead and adding to this position. Semiconductors were pretty strong after we had GFS, which reported some pretty nice earnings. I actually have a position in GFS. I thought this thing was going to go the way of the dodo bird, and I just kept it on. GFS actually did pretty well. We'll take a look at that chart. Tesla was the big loser. Down 2.93%. But I noticed here, KWeb was back down once again. The ARK FinTech Fund had a rough performance. And this blockchain ETF, the implied volatility went up by 41.08% from the open. GFS was our big earnings winner. Take a look here. I have the 65 strike calls expiring in January. So originally, like back here, I was like, oh man, we're not gonna get anywhere near 65. And lo and behold, here we are. We're actually putting in a pretty nice candle. Let's check out the weekly chart and see how this one's shaping up. Now, I actually really like the way GFS is moving right now. You can see we don't have a ton of overhead supply in this name, which is good. And I'm actually looking to add to this position as well. I was looking to see if we got a super strong close. We did not quite get that. But if this stock is strong again tomorrow, perhaps after the CPI, that's where I'd be more interested in adding to this position. Our dollar index, look at this team. We made another lower low. Something good is happening here. I don't know what. Maybe it's the market knows the CPI report on Thursday is going to be light. Could that be it? Perhaps. Could it be that the market is going Russia and Ukraine? Maybe there's something that happens on the positive side. That could be, because we have to remember, this poor inflation that we've been suffering from, where's that coming from? It's primarily stemming from this Russia and Ukraine conflict. So if we get a resolution there, that's going to be awesome for the inflation outlook. That's going to help bonds. It's going to help weaken the dollar. That will really just be a good accelerant to take us out of this bear market. Now our ZB, the 30-year Treasury bond futures, These finished out positive today, which is good, as did our 10-year Treasury futures, our ZN contract. Very nice finish here. But let's take a look at our headline indices and see how those are looking as we approach the CPI. Our S&P 500, oh my gosh, such a tease with this teal downward trend line. Look at this. It's almost as if the machines of the market are also recognizing this. So pretty wild stuff, right? We crossed above it, but we just couldn't finish out above. We are above some of these key moving averages. We're above the monthly value area. And remember, this is why being on Twitter can be tough sometimes. Immediately after the Fed meeting last week, it was like, oh my gosh, Powell was so hawkish, bruh. And the market started falling, and that narrative fit perfectly because the market was red. Now the market's green though. So it just goes to show that Fed meeting was very mixed. Our NASDAQ is still struggling. We're below this monthly point of control. Is it the best look? Not really. But at least we're making some progress off the lows. Our Russell 2000 has definitely been an outperformer. Look at this, we're above the key moving averages. Our 50-day simple moving average just crossed below the 20-day SMA. Dow is like out for revenge. Look at this. The Dow actually made a new swing closing high today. And we do have a VPOC up above us at this 34,502 level. Could we get there, but when all is said and done? Absolutely. Perhaps we get there by the end of the year. Who knows? But right now, this is looking pretty solid. Our ARK Innovation ETF was not so lucky. And that's because Tesla's been so weak. One of our members in our trading group played this beautifully. He basically bought the low today, sold as we got a nice pop, and then rebought as this moved lower. So kudos to him, really good stuff. We did hold the bottom of this monthly value area, which is good, but we just don't look strong at all. I mean, we're really just chopping around sideways here. Pretty tough action. It is not being helped by Tesla. Tesla was down 2.93% today. Did we put in a hammer? Yes, but we're just looking pretty darn ugly here. Really as a result of the rumor that Elon Musk was going to be taking over Twitter. And then even after the fact, after he's taken over Twitter, we're still seeing this weakness. Now, where's the strength coming from in the market? It's in stocks like Deere, the industrials, that are starting to move off the lows. It's in names like Caterpillar that are also starting to move off the lows. So isn't it interesting that we're getting these cyclical stocks that are starting to move off the bottom? Something is definitely changing within this market environment, and I do believe we're moving into a new phase of this bear market. It's either the beginning of us coming out of it or the very last stage of it. Now let's take a look before we break at crude oil. Crude oil finished the session down 3.4%. Again, another thing that's good for the inflation outlook. So by and large, we don't have a ton of answers today. We still have to wait for our river card, which is that CPI print, but we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, team. That said, that about does it for today's market recap video. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you go hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. That way we can keep making these videos for you. Have a good night, everyone.